And that'll take me about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Yeah,
do you want to time it?
Yeah. I've had the rest of this footage from Wales hanging over me for quite a while now. I needed to do something with it. So as you probably saw then, Jen has joined us. That's Jamie's wife. That's the person who's now itching their wrist in front of me. And on this day was the only day we had really bad weather. In fact, I haven't known a day like this for years. It literally rained from when we woke up all the way through the day and all the way through the afternoon, all the way through the evening. Did not stop. So while we're in that place having breakfast a few clips ago, Jamie had a bit of a look to things we could do indoors. So he booked this little pub meal thing that you're looking at now, and it was a magician or magic show of an evening. So it's like a cabaret magic live performance thing. And we went here at about, 7:30 at night. But before this happened, we just sat in and played board games pretty much all day. I nearly said MTV on then, wow. YouTube on with music and putting different clips of films on and stuff. And this was kind of like the highlight of the day, coming to some magic show. The premise of this particular trick here is that woman who just put her hand up gave a ring to this guy, the magician, and he was going to be blindfolded, or close his eyes, throw it back at her, and it would land on her finger. That was the general gist of it there. So that was him throwing it, and it didn't land on her hand. Shock horror. But before the trick, he'd gone round to a few audience members and given out various bags of sweets like Smarties, Haribos, etc. Now the little girl that's with him, she's an audience volunteer. She was about 9, or it was her 9th birthday tomorrow at the time. So she was being his assistant. So the trick, gasp, went wrong. So what does he do? He asks the little girl, out of all the bags of sweets that he gave out to different people, which one did she prefer? And I think she chose Smarties. And lo and behold, when he goes to get the Smarties off the person that was looking after the Smarties the whole time that couldn't be interfered with, he got the tube of Smarties back, came back to the front of the audience. He's asking her now, which sweets do you like the most? He's like, do you want them? I forgot what she had. The guy in front called Craig, I think he had some Haribo, and the Smarties were at the back. So she says, I like Smarties the most. So he's like, nice one, yeah? He goes out into the audience, gets the Smarties off the person that had the Smarties. I think the other people who got the sweets got to keep them and eat them because he didn't ask for them back. So here he is on his way to get the Smarties, and he's saying, are you sure? You want the Smarties? Do you definitely want the Smarties? And she's like, yep, totally, 100% want the Smarties. So he takes the Smarties off the person in the audience, holds them aloft like He-Man's magic sword and says, look, here are the Smarties that nobody's touched this whole time. Bearing in mind, remember, he's just thrown a ring into the audience and it missed the woman's hand. She kindly volunteered the ring. So now he opens the tube of Smarties, and you will never in a million years guess what is in the tube of Smarties. That's right, Smarties. No, actually there are Smarties in there because he gave them to the little girl, but the ring that he threw that didn't go anywhere, which he probably didn't really throw, he probably kept it up his sleeve or something, is found in this tube of Smarties. Now, I think he's asking her here, like, are you sure you want the Smarties? And he's now doing this magician thing of just opening the lid of the Smarties. I haven't had Smarties for years. I forgot they still even made them. So the cardboard, we used to have a plastic lid. So he now opens it, tries to not show that that he's putting anything in it. And I'm zooming into it. She opens up her hands. He tips the tube of Smarties into her hands. And guess what? The woman's ring is in the Smarties tube. That's the trick. It was quite a long trick. It was quite tedious. And you kind of knew what was going to happen anyway. But at the end of the day, it was entertaining. I forget the exact name of the club that we did. I think there was so the guy with the beard, he's the guy that owns it. And he had his son and his daughter, who's not on stage at the minute. They were doing their own stuff. That was quite good. They were quite good, considering they were probably early teenagers. But, you know, it was a night out. It was fun. It was entertaining. The food was okay. I had sausage and mash. This is the morning after, and the rain that we'd had non-stop the day before had stopped. So we went back into Llandudno. This is Llandudno Beach. Had a right nice walk. It was quite fresh. You can see it's quite sunny. It was weird that day. It was just completely and utterly horrific all day. So we parked up on the prom, Had a wander down the prom. We went and got a breakfast. I think that's when I got my Welsh rarebit. I didn't actually put any of that in. And this is the pier that we saw. If you watched the previous video where we bike rode up that Orms Pass or wherever it was, and we went to the cafe at the top. We looked down. We could see this pier, quite long, typical Victorian pier style, but with obviously non-Victorian things like that, such as little doggies, waggy-tailed doggies. There's dogs everywhere. There's a little chihuahua called Prince Charming that was nice. But it was charming, you know what I mean? It had the fun fair rides on it, and music was blaring out at different places. There was a shop halfway down it that sold things like woodwork, benches, pergolas, is that the right word? Stuff like that. It was just really, really nice and wholesome. Wasn't quite to the sort of level of the pier that you got in Brighton, because we went to Brighton this time last year and did the same thing then. And a right good mission. What I think was really good about Brighton is they had those bicycles, Boris bikes as I call them. You'd hop on the bikes anywhere, up and down the prom, and just pay for them with an app. We didn't have that this time. That's why we decided to bring our own bikes. And to be honest, as we bring the boards because we like to skate. We find a prom somewhere in the country and we go for a bit of a skate, get a bit of fresh air, good for mental health and stuff. But this time, even though we brought the boards, we just didn't use them. We just brought the bikes in Jamie's van. Jenna joined us on this day, or she came the night before? No, she came this day. She brought her bike, cycled to the train, got on the train, Jamie went and met her, then put her bike in the van as well. So on this particular day, I don't think she used it at all. She didn't actually do any cycling because we were a little bit cycled out by this point. With the whole plan was to park on the Llandudno prom, get the bikes back out, and then do the rest of the prom, or take Jenna on the journey that we did a day or two before. But Nick absolutely wasn't up for doing it again. It was a trek, to be honest. And this day was a little bit sunnier than the day. If you watch through the video, it was quite a grey day, quite blustery, especially at the top there. But I think you needed that. If you were travelling that far on a bike, me personally, the sun would have kicked my ass. So we ventured all the way down this pier. There wasn't really anything that appealed to us other than the whole pier atmosphere. At the start, when you first get on, way back there, there's quite a lot of food. There's those little, donuts. Is there candy floss? You got all those smells of like fish and chips, donuts, churros, all those kind of. Even though I don't particularly eat that kind of thing, it's quite nice to smell everything. It gives you that sort of seaside atmosphere that I like. Because I live in Morecambe. I love the seaside and the arcades and the sort of old-fashioned British holiday stuff. But as we walk down it, I don't know. Oh, pay here. That's probably for those rides. We walk down it. I don't know if you can tell, but it was absolutely massive. It was a super long pier. Well worth the trip down. You don't have to pay to get on it. The one in Brighton, you have to actually pay to get on. This is that bit that sells benches and pergolas and stuff like that. Some of the actual fence posts on the pier itself, if you pressed on them, a little bit wobbly. Wasn't like the best maintained. And I imagine the day before when we had that rain, I don't know if they closed the pier or not, but it was blustery as hell. So I've been dying to get this footage uploaded and off because I don't like moving past it until I've finished, until I've done my thing. So I did record quite a lot, and the thing I've had at the minute is I've recorded a weekend with me and Sarah in Morecambe in the arcades, and we cycled to Carnforth with my parents. That was quite nice. I've got that to edit. This weekend just gone now, it's the Sunday, the 5th, I actually stayed over in Birkenhead where my girlfriend lives, and we went out onto the Albert Dock, and this weekend we've had Storm Amy, or the after effects of Storm Amy, and the Albert Dock was horrific. It was like hurricane level wind, almost. Spray coming off the water. So we parked up at Sarah's work and we walked down to the Albert Dock there. We went into 2 cafes, one for breakfast, one for a coffee. We stayed in the second one for absolutely ages until the rain and the wind dropped off a little bit, and then we got back in the car and went home. But I filmed a bit of that. But I felt like a mental block of sort of saying, I need to get this Wales video done and dusted. Now, I don't expect anyone's going to watch this, especially all the way through. We're now at like 9 minutes 38 according to the timeline, and we're still not at the end of the pier. That little Unimog thing, that little scooter, little bus thing's quite cool, isn't it? So I got round to the bottom end. I think that little pavilion thing on the left is just an arcade. There's a load of benches outside, so basically all you can really do on the pier is come for food, a bit of a drink, and play on the slot machines. There's a couple of shops. If you're in Llandudno, it's worth a visit, to be honest. And then we came back down the pier. We drove to the quiet side of town again from the bike ride one. We drove to this side. We walked all the way out to sort of as far as we felt was kind of comfortable. It was quite sandy, and this is actually the journey back. Once we got back to where the cars were, actually Nick's car and Jamie's van, there was a little cafe that had like a model railway. You just about see it there if you looked on the right. A bit too far to sort of make any sense out of. We walked all the way back, went to the cafe. We got, I think I got a coffee and a cake. It wasn't a food or a breakfast place. Had a coffee and cake, and then got back in the cars and headed home. But one thing that I've probably said this in all the videos, I think there's been 3 from Wales now, is that I will definitely go back to Rhos-on-Sea, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno. Llandudno is just, it's unspoiled Victorian feeling. There's the cafe, there's the cake. I think I had a coffee cake and a cup of coffee. Double coffee. And here's just the water in slow motion whilst we contemplate. What a very nice little break we had. So yeah, this is the end of the Wales holiday, the Wales trip. We went on the Thursday and we came back on the Sunday. We also had the Monday off work as well, which was really nice because we could just chill the F out. I'm all for having a break, but then when you come back, having a bit of time to unwind. I don't like going straight back to work the day after. Well, hopefully next year, 2026, there'll be a lot more breaks. I haven't got much annual leave left now, about 3 days. Me and Sarah are thinking about going abroad, spending some time in another country. She's not done any flying for years, neither I actually. So she wants to break into it slowly. She doesn't want to go to the Caribbean or anything. She just wants to do a little Europe trip. So hopefully we'll do that. But I think next September, again, it's usually typically September, we'll do another little skate break. But I honestly think that we should just take the bikes instead. Really like cycling because you can get further, you can go faster. The terrain under wheel doesn't really affect you like it does on a skateboard or on rollerblades. Jenna tends to rollerblade. But yeah, I don't think we'll come back to here next year in September. I'm open for any ideas or suggestions, but because nobody listens to videos this far along, I won't get any suggestions off you, will I? So that's it really. I'll just let this play out, put a little bit of music cranked up, and thanks for watching, especially if you watched this far. If you watched this far, put the word rhubarb in the comments because I won't get any comments and no one's going to watch this far. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye bye then.